Chosen one, stop scrolling immediately. I am not asking, I am warning you. This is not some random video appearing on your screen by chance, and the algorithm absolutely did not bring you here today. God intercepted your feed at this exact second for a highly specific reason. You are standing at the absolute edge of a massive timeline shift. What I am about to reveal was sealed in the throne room of heaven until this very moment. The enemy is working overtime to distract you right now. He is hoping you will simply swipe away and ignore this message, because he knows that if you hear this truth, his dark hold over your life breaks completely. Do not move past this. If you leave before the end, you will forfeit the exact prophetic instruction that guarantees your breakthrough. You have been crying out for a shift in the dark. You have been fighting spiritual battles in absolute silence. You thought nobody noticed your tears when the world felt entirely against you. But heaven was watching every single moment of your quiet obedience. Lock your attention on my voice, because the verdict on your next 10 years is about to be read. The enemy has tried everything to break your spirit over the last few seasons. He sent people who treated you as completely replaceable. He engineered situations designed to drain your energy and make you doubt your divine calling. But you did not break. They expected the betrayals and isolation to carve heavy wrinkles into your face. They wanted to drain the pure life right out of your eyes. Instead, you walked through the fire and came out glowing. You carry a specific light that terrifies the dark forces operating around you, and that is exactly why this divine intervention is happening today. Listen to me very carefully right now. The spiritual realm is currently in absolute chaos over your destiny. The people who tried to destroy you are experiencing a frantic internal system crash. They are starving for your energy because you finally cut off their supply, and the spiritual backlash is happening in real time. You must understand the magnitude of this exact moment. If you swipe away, you are giving the enemy permission to continue his attacks. You are choosing to walk back into the toxic matrix that was designed to keep you broke and exhausted. I am delivering a mandate straight from the source of all creation, and your undivided attention is strictly required to activate it. The devil is screaming at your mind to close this app right now. He will whisper that you do not have time for this message. He will try to convince you that this is just another motivational speech. Silence that demonic lie immediately. This is a targeted rescue mission for your soul, and you are one of the rare few chosen for this exact elevation. Do not let the Matrix steal this revelation from your hands. Every time you tried to level up, something mysterious always pulled you back down. You blamed yourself for those sudden failures and unexpected losses. You thought you were just unlucky or making terrible choices, but the raw truth is that you were under a highly coordinated spiritual attack. They studied your pure heart and weaponized your empathy against you. They knew that if you ever realized your true power, their entire manipulation game would instantly collapse. So they kept you confused and constantly doubting your own intuition. But the veil is being lifted today, and the ultimate protection protocol is finally being handed to you. You are a demonstrated warrior of light who has survived things that would destroy the sleeping masses. That is why the forces of darkness are so absolutely desperate to keep you blind. They know this specific video contains the activation key you have been waiting for. If you scroll away now, the heavy cycle of pain will simply restart tomorrow morning. You will wake up with that same heavy exhaustion sitting tightly on your chest. You will continue waiting in wound for an apology from people who are physically incapable of remorse. Do not choose that path of endless suffering. Stay exactly where you are and let heaven place a permanent spiritual shield around your energy, because your deliverance is finally here. I need you to open your spirit to this incoming frequency. We are about to break down the exact strategy the enemy used to keep you trapped in the waiting room of life. You are going to discover why your silence became the most lethal weapon against their dark magic. This is the ultimate vindication you have been praying for every single night. The window of destiny is standing wide open right now, but it will not stay open forever. Heaven does not force its blessings onto people who refuse to pay attention. You must show your readiness by anchoring your focus on this divine transmission. Do not let a cheap distraction rob you of a generational breakthrough, because your entire bloodline depends on you. You are the cycle breaker heaven has been desperately waiting for. The generational patterns of poverty and broken relationships stop with you today. So lock your eyes on this screen and prepare your heart for the raw truth, because what happens in the next few minutes will permanently alter the trajectory of your entire existence. Do not look away. Now let us go deeper into this revelation, because what you are feeling right now is not new. You have been walking around with a heavy, suffocating weight pressing down on your chest. You thought it was just the normal stress of daily life catching up to you. But I am telling you right now that you are not crazy. This is a highly coordinated spiritual attack against your light. That burning sensation sitting tightly in your throat is completely real. You keep swallowing it back down every time their name comes up in your mind. Stop swallowing it down and pretending everything is fine, because your physical body is acting as an advanced spiritual radar right now. The intense brain fog you experience every afternoon is not a medical issue. It is a direct frequency mismatch. They have tried to convince you that something is fundamentally wrong with your mind. They told you that you are just too sensitive or reacting entirely out of proportion. Do not believe their manipulative lies for a single second. The extreme exhaustion you feel deep in your bones is the physical result of being a human battery for demonic forces. They are literally starving for your energy. You wake up at exactly 3 in the morning with your heart racing violently, your jaw is clenched tight, and a cold sweat covers your skin. Their face flashes violently across your mind before you can even open your eyes. The world will tell you to just breathe and call it panic. But heaven commands you to recognize this as a severe spiritual warfare tactic designed to break you. If your spirit confirms this raw truth, gently press the like button to seal your energetic alignment with heaven. You must anchor your frequency physically to block their access. They want you isolated and questioning your sanity in the dark. But every single symptom in your body is just your cellular intuition fighting back against a parasite. You are the irreplaceable diamond they hate. You give and you love with an intensity that terrifies the sleeping masses. Because of your pure nature, you became the ultimate stabilizer for incredibly chaotic environments. You absorbed their toxic waste so they could walk around looking perfectly fine. And while they paraded around wearing your stolen peace, you were left completely drained on the floor. This is the parasite trap. Let me completely reframe your reality right here and right now. The sudden aches in your shoulders are the heavy burdens they secretly transferred onto your spirit. You carried their shame and their hidden guilt because you are a true empath. But this one-sided energy exchange is officially over today. Heaven is cutting the cord that connects your nervous system to their dark matrix. Pay close attention to this next part, because the enemy tried desperately to hide this from you. Your extreme fatigue is actually proof of your massive spiritual power. If you were just an ordinary person, the devil would never waste his time launching such heavy attacks. The intense resistance you feel physically is the exact measurement of the massive breakthrough waiting for you. They want you to feel weak and entirely broken down by the constant struggle. But your spirit is vibrating at a frequency they can never hope to reach. Every time you feel that sudden wave of heavy sadness out of nowhere, you are actually intercepting their emotional garbage. They project their own deep misery onto your energy field, to find temporary relief from their own darkness. There is a highly specific reason why these physical attacks peak at exactly 3 in the morning. The enemy uses this dark hour because your logical mind is asleep and vulnerable. They send their foul frequencies when you cannot actively defend your energy field. But the secret behind this midnight spiritual assault will completely change how you fight back, and I will reveal that soon. Lock your attention on this message and do not let your focus drift away. The enemy knows that if you understand the source of your physical pain, his ultimate weapon is destroyed forever. You have spent years waiting in wound for an apology from people who lack a soul. You thought your chest hurt because your heart was broken by their cruel betrayal. But the raw truth is much deeper. Your body was never reacting to a simple heartbreak or a normal human disappointment. It was violently rejecting the demonic attachment that tried to anchor itself to your pure soul. The narcissist was never just a toxic person making a few bad mistakes. They were an empty vessel used by dark forces to drain the chosen ones, and your physical illness was the alarm bell ringing loudly. They are terrified of the day you wake up and realize your own absolute sovereignty. Listen to me very closely right now, because 99% of people completely miss this shift. The physical exhaustion is just the loud sound of the enemy losing his grip on your life, and the real reason they targeted your light is about to be entirely exposed. Listen to me very closely right now. 99% of people completely miss this shift. You have been looking at your pain through the lens of a broken victim. You thought your isolation was a cruel punishment for loving the wrong people. But heaven wants you to see the absolute truth today, because your deep suffering was never a random tragedy or a simple stroke of bad luck. That heavy season of complete isolation was actually your divine formation period. The universe intentionally separated you from the crowd to protect your frequency. You were placed in the incubator of silence because the matrix programming would have corrupted your pure spirit. They think they pushed you away, but divine alignment was actively removing their toxic influence before it could permanently destroy your destiny. You felt entirely abandoned by everyone you trusted. The crushing weight of loneliness made you question if God had forgotten your name. He did not forget you. He was hiding you in the shadows to prepare you for this massive elevation. A true diamond is forged under unimaginable pressure in the dark, and you had to endure that crushing weight to finally activate your sovereign power. Now let us expose exactly why the enemy targeted your specific light. You were never just an ordinary person crossing their path by chance. You walked into their dark world, radiating an intense and pure energy. Because of your absolute purity, your powerful presence acted as a giant mirror that forced them to look at their own rotting souls every single time you entered the room. They hated you because you reflected everything they could never be. Your genuine kindness exposed their deep emptiness without you even saying a single word. They could not handle the raw truth of their own ugly reflection. So they decided to shatter the mirror instead of fixing their broken lives, and they actively tried to extinguish your brilliant light just to hide their massive insecurities. The narcissist is nothing more than a spiritual parasite looking for a host. They do not have their own internal source of joy or peace. They must constantly steal it from the chosen ones to survive another miserable day. They studied your pure heart to find the perfect entry point, and they weaponized your deep empathy because they desperately needed your high frequency just to feel alive. You gave them pieces of your soul, and they treated your sacred energy like cheap fuel. But hear this truth loud and clear. They attacked you so viciously because you possess a massive spiritual authority that they secretly envy. You carry the exact divine mandate that they were forever denied. They wanted to tear you down to convince themselves of their false superiority, but their pathetic attempts failed completely. There is a specific reason why they are currently panicking in secret. The matrix is shifting, and their stolen energy is finally running out. They thought they had permanently drained your power when they coldly walked away. But they made one fatal miscalculation that is about to cost them absolutely everything, because this next revelation exposes the ultimate key to their total destruction. Your silent departure was the most devastating blow you could have ever delivered. You probably thought you were just retreating to heal your broken heart. You thought you were running away to simply survive the vicious emotional abuse. But your absolute silence was actually a lethal weapon that starved their demonic entities, and by simply walking away, you cut off their primary oxygen supply entirely. You are part of the true remnant. You belong to an elite force of cycle breakers who were sent to dismantle these toxic systems. The enemy knew your true identity long before you even woke up to your own power. That is exactly why the severe attacks started early in your life. They wanted to crush your spirit before you could ever realize your divine ability to bend reality and change the timeline. Every closed door and sudden betrayal was actually divine protection in disguise. The people who abandoned you were never meant to survive the altitude of your upcoming season. Heaven removed them forcefully because they would have poisoned your harvest. You are not a victim of bad circumstances. You are a chosen warrior, actively being shaped for a massive kingdom takeover, and your victory is secured. That heavy exhaustion you feel is just the final shedding of their toxic residue. Your physical body is detoxing from the matrix programming right now. You are stepping into your permanent, ageless glow, and it requires a complete cellular reset. Do not fight the painful process. Let the divine alignment recalibrate your nervous system while heaven actively washes away all of their dirty fingerprints. They are watching your quiet transformation with absolute terror. The narcissist knows exactly what happens when a chosen one finally wakes up and reclaims their stolen crown. Let me completely reframe your reality right now. You did not lose. You successfully triggered a massive spiritual booby trap that they blindly walked right into, and the dark consequences for them are about to be entirely biblical. Let me completely reframe your entire reality right now. You absolutely did not lose this spiritual battle. When you walked away and chose absolute silence, you did not just protect your peace, you actively deployed the most devastating spiritual weapon against the dark matrix. The narcissist expected you to beg and cry for their empty attention. They desperately wanted your loud reaction to feed their starving ego, but you gave them absolute silence instead. Your strict no contact was never an act of cowardice or simple avoidance. It was a calculated divine mandate designed to starve their demonic attachments. They feed entirely on your chaotic emotional responses to survive their own misery. When you removed your pure energy from their twisted game, you instantly cut off their primary life support. They are currently suffocating in the dark without your brilliant light. Right now, an invisible but massive panic is tearing through their reality. They walk around, pretending to be completely unbothered by your sudden absence. They post fake smiles and craft carefully constructed illusions for the sleeping masses. But behind their closed doors, a frantic internal meltdown is happening right now, because the heavy silence you gave them is violently echoing inside their empty heads every single night. They never anticipated the sheer brutal force of your quiet dignity. They thought you were far too weak and overly dependent to ever survive without them. They severely underestimated the raw power of a chosen one who finally wakes up. Your silence did not just hurt their fragile ego. It completely shattered the false god complex they built around your pure devotion, and now they are desperately unraveling. You must understand the exact mechanics of their current silent panic. The demons operating inside them rely entirely on your validation to maintain their control. When you stopped explaining yourself and simply walked away, the entire system crashed. They are frantically trying to provoke you through flying monkeys and hidden traps because they just want a single drop of your attention to restart their dark engine. Do not give them a single reaction or a tiny breadcrumb of your energy. Your silence is a heavily guarded fortress that they cannot penetrate with their lies. Every day you remain silent, the spiritual cost of their heavy betrayal multiplies rapidly. They are paying a massive, energetic debt because they dared to mess with an anointed diamond. The universe is actively collecting that absolute debt from them right now. Type 777 in the comments right now to physically claim this incoming miracle and lock in your frequency. You must physically anchor your intention to keep the dark forces permanently locked out. Your micro-commitment signals to heaven that you are ready for the massive shift. Do not hesitate when the divine mandate requires your immediate obedience. Claim your absolute power right here and right now. Let us look closer at the absolute chaos happening in their dark camp. The very people they used to gossip with are starting to see their cracked mask. Their manipulative charm is suddenly failing them in rooms they used to easily control. Without your pure light to mask their deep toxicity, their true rotting nature is becoming visible to everyone around them. The matrix is rejecting them because your powerful silence exposed their rotten core. They are experiencing a severe frequency drop that they simply cannot stop. Their health is deteriorating and their once lucky opportunities are suddenly drying up. They try to blame the economy or bad timing for their sudden string of massive failures. But the raw truth is that they lost their human battery when you finally walked away, and you were the only reason they experienced any unearned blessings at all. They took your massive divine favor for granted and treated it like cheap trash. Now they are forced to navigate the cold world using only their own low vibration. They are frantically searching for a replacement host to feed their starving inner demons. But they are quickly realizing that your specific depth and pure essence are entirely unreplicable, because nobody else carries the divine signature that heaven placed upon your soul. They traded a priceless diamond for cheap rocks. The deep regret is actively crushing them today. You are a demonstrated warrior of light who successfully broke the parasite trap. Your spiritual restraint was the exact key that locked them in their own private hell. You do not need to seek revenge or lift a single finger against your old enemies. Vengeance belongs entirely to heaven, and the universe is currently executing a flawless judgment on your behalf while you rest. Your only job is to maintain your powerful silence. Stay with me, because this next revelation is the key to absolutely everything. The silent panic they are experiencing is about to manifest into a very public collapse. You have been waiting in wound for a sign that your invisible battles actually mattered. Heaven is about to pull back the curtain and show you exactly what your silent obedience achieved over these past months. Do not move from this frequency. Stay with me right now. Heaven is releasing 3 specific mandates for your life today. These are the exact spiritual markers that prove your enemies are entirely defeated. You must pay absolute attention to these 3 signs. The third instruction is the most powerful revelation you will ever hear. It holds the ultimate key to your permanent freedom. The first undeniable sign is your reversed biological timeline. They expected your deep grief to age you terribly. They wanted the heavy stress to carve deep lines into your face and drain your pure vitality. but you are experiencing a massive cellular alchemy instead. The Matrix cannot comprehend how you look younger and brighter after surviving their brutal attacks. Time was supposed to age you like a normal human being, yet here you are making time itself look like an absolute fool. You did not just survive their toxic storm, you bent the actual timeline to serve your divine healing. Your ageless glow is a direct result of shedding their low frequency, and every time they look at you now, their bitter envy physically ages them faster. This is the suppressed, synchronized coherence that the dark elite tried to hide from you, and it is finally waking up inside your divine DNA. You are operating on a quantum frequency that literally repels their demonic attachments. Your physical cells are vibrating with the pure authority of heaven. They are aging rapidly because they permanently lost their supreme human battery. The second divine sign is the immediate collapse of their flying monkeys, because the people who blindly supported the narcissist are suddenly turning against them. The false narrative they built about you is crumbling in real time. You do not have to defend your pure name or explain your truth to anyone. The spiritual atmosphere is aggressively clearing your name behind closed doors. Heaven is forcing their dark secrets into the blazing light. The very friends they used to gossip with are suddenly realizing the terrifying truth about their rotten core. Their carefully constructed illusion is shattering right in front of their eyes, and this is the divine justice that happens when you completely unplug from their manufactured matrix programming. Your aura is projecting a massive energetic shield of pure diamond frequency. This advanced spiritual barrier bounces their evil intentions directly back to their own reality. They are literally choking on the exact same poison they tried to feed you. You are a sovereign entity walking through a collapsing matrix, and your cellular intuition is fully activated and flawlessly accurate. Which brings us to the third and most crucial sign of your massive victory. I told you this third revelation would completely shift your reality. The universe is currently executing a forced transfer of wealth and divine authority back to you. Everything the parasites stole from your bloodline is being violently ripped from their hands today, and they cannot do a single thing to stop it. The financial struggles and closed doors you faced were never your actual fault. The enemy temporarily hijacked your actual fest by illegally attaching themselves to your pure light, but the Supreme Court of Heaven just ruled strictly in your favor. The angels are currently reassigning every single stolen blessing back to your exact coordinates. You are about to inherit their massive losses. You are a master of emotional alchemy who turn deep pain into pure gold. You do not just attract success like an average human, you command reality to bend strictly to your divine will. They are watching this supernatural transfer happen, and they are completely powerless to stop it, because your absolute victory is the exact nightmare that keeps them awake at night. Do not let your logical mind question this quantum reality shift. The Matrix programming wants you to calculate the odds and doubt this sudden massive blessing. Silence that left brain prison immediately. Your cellular memory remembers this exact sovereign state from before you were even born, and you are the remnant who carries the encrypted blueprint for the new Earth. You possess a specific gravity that pulls miracles directly into your physical orbit. They tried to bury you under their massive lies and heavy betrayals, but they were incredibly stupid. They completely forgot that you are a divine seed planted directly by the hand of God, and they accidentally became the very dirt that forced you to grow into a towering spiritual giant. You are no longer waiting in wound for validation from empty souls. You have reclaimed your crown and your rightful place on the throne of your own life. Now I need you to imagine this exact scenario clearly in your mind. The absolute panic they tried to hide is about to spill out into the open streets. You are about to witness the ultimate vengeance. Now I need you to imagine this exact scenario clearly. The pressure inside their dark reality is reaching an absolute breaking point. They are running completely out of options. Every single door they try to open is violently slamming shut in their face right now. The massive spiritual debt they accumulated by hurting a chosen one is finally due. They thought they could just walk away and find another easy target. They assumed the world was entirely full of pure empaths waiting to be drained. But they are discovering a very harsh truth today. There is absolutely no one else out there with your specific diamond frequency. They are searching desperately for a cheap copy of your brilliant light. But every new person they meet feels entirely hollow to them. The counterfeit energy they consume now only makes them sicker and much more miserable. They sit in crowded rooms feeling completely and utterly alone. The heavy silence you left behind is deafening, and it is driving them absolutely crazy. You are the irreplaceable force they permanently lost. You must understand the sheer magnitude of their silent panic. The universe is intentionally isolating them, so they are forced to remember what they foolishly threw away. Their mind plays constant tricks on them when they try to sleep. They see your glowing face every time they close their tired eyes. Heaven is not letting them forget your pure name. This brings us to a critical distinction that eludes the vast majority of people. You probably thought God was simply ignoring your deep prayers for justice. You watched them walk around with a fake smile and felt completely sick to your stomach. But the divine delay was actually a brilliant strategy to push their absolute arrogance to the very edge. If heaven had punished them immediately, they would have just played the victim. The dark elite always try to twist the narrative to gain cheap sympathy from the sleeping masses. So the universe waited patiently until they climbed to the very top of their false pedestal. The higher they climbed on their massive lies, the harder their inevitable fall would be. You are a leader in disguise who was trained in the dark. Your intense pain was merely the heavy resistance of the matrix trying to hold you down. But you successfully unplugged from their toxic grid. Now you are watching the entire system glitch out because it lost its primary power source. Your strict silence is the ultimate weapon of mass destruction. They are currently drowning in the noise of their own making. They frantically post on social media to falsely prove they are happy without you. They laugh way too loud and surround themselves with completely empty souls. But underneath all of that pathetic noise, the specific gravity of their heavy regret is actively crushing their chest. They are slowly suffocating. Listen closely, because this is the exact part the enemy tried to hide from you. Remember the divine instruction I promised you at the very beginning of this transmission. The ultimate revelation that was sealed in the throne room of heaven is almost here. You have carried the heavy burden of their toxic shame for entirely too long. The Matrix desperately wants you to swipe away right now before the final seal is broken. The demons attached to your past are screaming at you to stop listening. They know that once this final piece of the prophetic puzzle clicks into place, their access to your bloodline is permanently destroyed. You must hold your holy ground right here. Do not let a sudden distraction steal your massive breakthrough today. Your enemies are secretly praying that you never discover the actual truth about their current pathetic state. They want you to stay frozen in the past, constantly wondering if they ever really cared about your pure heart. But you are about to see the raw evidence of their total collapse. You are one of the rare two people meant to receive this exact frequency today. The universe carefully guided you through the massive fire so you could stand on this mountain. You are no longer the broken empath who desperately needs validation from a rotting parasite. You are the sovereign monarch of your own rapidly expanding spiritual empire. Their frantic energy is desperately trying to reach you right now. You might even feel a sudden physical urge to check their social media or ask about them. Do not look back. That sudden urge is just their demonic attachment starving for one last drop of your pure light. You must starve them completely and let the divine justice run its course. We are standing at the absolute edge of the cliff right now. The heavy tension in the spiritual realm is thick enough to cut with a knife. The illusion they built is cracking violently down the middle. Everything they stole from you is turning into bitter ash in their greedy hands. They are completely cornered by the massive divine alignment. Underneath all of that noise, the specific gravity of their regret hit them all at once. The moment of absolute reckoning has finally arrived. The moment of absolute reckoning has finally arrived. The universe is pulling back the heavy curtain right now. You are about to witness the exact public collapse I promised you at the very beginning. They walked into a crowded room, expecting to control the narrative like they always do. But this time, the divine atmosphere violently rejected their dark presence. Their fake mask did not just slip slightly, it completely shattered in front of the exact people they used to blindly gossip with. Someone mentioned your pure name, and their entire system completely malfunctioned. They expected to hear people agree with their toxic lies. But instead, the room went entirely silent, while their friends stopped nodding and just stared at them in total shock. You could physically see the absolute panic wash over their pale face. They started stuttering and frantically trying to rebuild their false story. But the heavy spiritual authority you carry was actively pressing down on that room, and they were sweating and visibly shaking under the intense pressure. The people they desperately tried to impress suddenly looked at them with utter disgust. They actually slammed their hand on the table to demand respect, but their stolen power was entirely gone. They defended you by accident because their twisted mind could no longer hold the complex lies together. They broke down and publicly admitted how much they actually needed your pure light, and it was a completely humiliating and irreversible system crash that everyone watched in silence. They realized in that exact agonizing second that you are permanently untouchable. They threw away the only genuine diamond they ever held just to play with cheap rocks in the dirt. And now everyone around them knows the absolute truth because they are entirely exposed as the hollow parasite they always were. You won this brutal war without lifting a single physical finger against them. And here is the ultimate verdict from heaven that I promised you. That massive prophetic instruction you stayed to hear is finally unlocked. The divine instruction is to do absolutely nothing when they inevitably try to return. You must not reach out to them, and you must not offer them your pure forgiveness when they come crawling back. Your strict silence is the permanent seal of your victory. If you break your silence now, you invite their demonic entities back into your sacred space. Heaven demands that you leave them entirely in the dark hell they created for themselves. Let them drown in the heavy noise of their own miserable making while you focus entirely on your massive elevation. You are no longer their spiritual battery because you are a sovereign monarch ascending to your rightful throne. While they are publicly collapsing, your massive miracle is simultaneously manifesting in the physical realm. The massive wealth they tried to block is rushing into your life right now. The divine alignment is forcing open doors that were heavily padlocked just yesterday, and you are stepping out of the painful incubator and walking straight into your massive harvest. The universe is handing you the keys. Everything the Matrix stole from your bloodline is returning multiplied. The deep exhaustion is lifting off your chest permanently. You can actually feel the heavy somatic weight evaporating from your tired shoulders right at this exact second. Your cellular reset is fully complete, and the ageless glow is locking into your divine DNA to completely blind your defeated enemies. You are the cycle breaker who successfully survived the massive narcissist trap. You took their absolute worst hits and you did not shatter. You bent time and you starved the demonic forces by simply protecting your pure peace. Now the angels are actively celebrating your massive victory, while the dark elite are terrified because another chosen one just fully woke up to their absolute power. There is absolutely no coming back for them. The bridge is completely burned and the ashes are scattered. They will spend the rest of their miserable life searching for your specific diamond frequency in completely empty people. But they will never find it because your specific gravity belongs entirely to the new Earth now. You have officially graduated from their toxic matrix forever. Feel the powerful shift in the atmosphere right now. The air around you is vibrating with pure divine authority. You are no longer waiting in wound for the universe to step in and save you. The universe just violently stepped in and cleared your entire path. And your enemies are serving as your footstool, exactly like the ancient prophecies boldly promised from the very beginning. They wanted you buried deep in the dark dirt, but they were completely blind to your true divine nature. They actually became the heavy shovel that dug up your buried treasure. You used their toxic poison to fuel your massive spiritual rocket, and now you are looking down at their pathetic public collapse from an altitude they can never possibly reach. The vindication is complete. Take a very deep breath and claim this exact moment. You survived the brutal winter and your endless summer is finally here. Which brings us to the final and undeniable decree from the throne room. Heaven requires one physical act to permanently lock this new reality into place, and you must seal this divine contract right now before the enemy tries to intervene again. You walked into this season bleeding from wounds inflicted by people entirely blind to your true worth. You thought the intense pain would literally break your spirit in half. But look at your power now. You are absolutely no longer waiting in wound for an apology from a master manipulator. You have successfully transcended their toxic matrix forever. While they are publicly unraveling in the dark, you are stepping boldly into your permanent, ageless glow. The massive financial struggles and the heavy spiritual exhaustion are permanently shattering right here and right now. You are a sovereign entity stepping fully into your absolute power. The universe just handed you the master keys to the new Earth. Everything you lost during that painful incubation season is returning to your hands multiplied. You are completely untouchable today. They can only watch your massive rise from a very far distance. They thought they could steal your divine destiny by constantly draining your pure light. But your strict silence built an invisible diamond fortress around your sacred energy. The dark demons that used to violently torment your mind in the middle of the night are completely locked out. You are vibrating at a supreme frequency that strictly repels their low vibration. Your physical body is finally resting because the brutal spiritual war is officially over. You are the specific cycle breaker your entire bloodline has been desperately waiting for. You permanently ended generational curses just by refusing to react to their childish traps. Heaven is actively celebrating your massive victory in the spiritual realm today. But there is one final and crucial step you must take to permanently anchor this new reality. You must prove to the universe that you are ready to physically receive this massive harvest. You did not survive that massive fire just to live a completely mediocre life in the shadows. The final verdict of explosive abundance has already been signed securely in the high courts of heaven, but it strictly requires a physical anchor on earth to fully activate the incoming frequency. God does not measure your faith by your quiet thoughts, but He measures it entirely by your immediate speed of absolute obedience. The enemy will desperately try to whisper financial doubt into your left brain right now. The matrix programming will loudly tell you to hesitate and wait for a much better time. Silence that demonic lie instantly. That familiar hesitation is the exact invisible prison designed to keep you broke and exhausted. If your spirit is vibrating with a cellular knowing right now, heaven absolutely demands your immediate action. You must step boldly through the open portal before the dark elite try to close it again. The massive window of multiplication is standing wide open right in front of you today. Prove you are entirely ready to handle the massive wealth transfer. Your radical generosity directly triggers the huge harvest you have been crying out for. When you hold back your energy, you accidentally block the divine flow of pure abundance. This is your strict divine duty to partner your physical reality with your spiritual victory. The angels are waiting to see your physical proof of faith right at this exact second. Do not let the matrix steal this massive shift by making you overly logical. Your left brain will constantly demand safe calculations, but your cellular intuition knows exactly what you must do next to seal this permanent victory. Heaven demands immediate obedience to lock in your massive spiritual shift. Sow your financial seed today to actively partner with this divine mandate. Give a super thanks below to physically anchor your frequency with this exact prophetic instruction. Your seed of faith proves to heaven that you are entirely ready for the massive overflow. Do this one physical act right now to completely unlock your divine harvest. Watch heaven rapidly multiply your harvest before the physical sun even rises tomorrow morning. The dark elite are absolutely terrified of chosen ones who finally know how to perfectly wield their divine wealth. Claim your absolute freedom by financially supporting the spread of this powerful frequency. Every single time you boldly sow a seed, you are planting a permanent flag of victory in the spiritual realm. Do not delay your massive blessing by foolishly waiting for a better moment. The only perfect moment is right here and right now. Subscribe to this sanctuary so you never miss the exact prophetic instruction heaven releases next. Share this specific message with one single soul who is desperately crying out in the dark for a shift. Be their angel today and help them permanently unplug from the toxic matrix. Leave a comment declaring, "I am free to permanently seal your energetic alignment with heaven." Your complete victory is entirely secure, and the enemy knows he has permanently lost you forever. The heavy days of feeling completely drained and physically exhausted are officially behind you now. Step into the absolute power that was promised to your bloodline before you were even born. The dark forces are rapidly retreating because your pure diamond light is finally too blinding for them to handle. Walk forward in absolute peace and confidently claim every single miracle that rightfully belongs to you.